Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Unstoppable Wasp issue number 8. Dude, this was a really good issue. Bunch of really weird stuff happened in the beginning, but all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, oh this is bad. Like, nobody's getting out of this one unscathed. There's just no way that's going to happen. At least I hope not. I want this to have some consequences because this was wicked. All right, let's get into this. Writer Jeremy Whitley, art Gary Haru, cover Stacy Lee, and the letterer, VC's Joe Caramagna, graphic designer Carlos Lau, and the original Wasp, who is in this book, was created by Stan Lee, Ernie Hart, and Jack freaking Kirby. All right, so Nadia she's just trying to do her little girl exposition. You know, the little exhibit, she's got a bunch of people coming in. They're looking around. They're seeing all the cool science projects that they're doing over in Creskill. And it's kind of cool, man. It's kind of cool. They're just chilling. All of a sudden, cut to Winter Soldier, Bucky, and Mockingbird going into an old Red Room facility that seems to have been abandoned, but apparently there's still some people there. He goes and drops some, crap, what the heck is that called? White phosphorus. And they enter this facility. Now, Bucky keeps on saying, he said like 2 or 3 times, listen, I know they look like they're just kids, they are just kids, but they will kill you without hesitation. This says the guy who just in the previous issue got jumped by one of the Red Room girls. I was scared. The way that they were doing that made me a little bit scared, like, oh crap, something bad's going to happen to Mockingbird, because she wasn't taking this very seriously. I thought something bad's going to happen, and I'm gonna be heartbroken because Mockingbird is one of my absolute all-time favorites. Well, they go down there, and it turns out Bucky's the jackass because there's a tape clearly labeled for him, and he plays it. Okay, so this is 2 books in a row where they make Bucky look like an absolute jackass. Not having it. Not having it. You want to know what my main problem is with this comic book? That's it right there. Look, man, I'm just saying in general, you don't have to make girls look cool by looking boys look stupid. That was a really boneheaded maneuver, and excuse me for saying, I just don't want to believe that Bucky would be that stupid as to play that thing. He knew... You read it, you'll understand. You'll read it and you'll say, okay, he knew that was going to happen, so why'd he do it? He didn't even take the chance to look around a little bit more. It didn't make any kind of sense. This could possibly be explained later, like, oh, I didn't want you to go in any further and find these dormant monsters who were down here. No. They just, whatever, man, whatever. Anyway. There are a couple of really interesting scientific parts shown. My second least favorite part of this book is a part where they say, what is it? Nadia says to people, you believe in science. The whole lecture was actually really good. It wasn't a lecture. The whole introduction that she gave to the people in attendance was actually really good. But when she said something about you believe in science, listen, man, science doesn't require your belief. That's just... People, the what do you call it? The trolls on the right, not all the right, just the trolls on the right, like talk about, I defeated you with facts and logic. You wouldn't know facts and logic if it kicked you in the nuts, man. Shut up. They sit there and talk about facts and logic. Here's facts and logic. It's called science. When push comes to shove, the ultimate in facts and logics are science. It doesn't require your belief. Some people are going to get offended by this. Sorry, but it's factual. Religion requires belief. Here's things that you want to believe in, but there's nothing to back it up whatsoever. Even historical data seems to show that there's something wrong here, but you still want to believe it anyway. Wood floats. Wood doesn't care if you believe it floats or not. It's going to freaking float. And you understand that through science, not through faith. Anyway, yeah, so faith in science doesn't make a lot of sense. Dumb people would have faith in science. An intelligent person would actually research it and at least have some kind of a basic understanding of why such and such happens. Case in point, why does wood float? Look it up. It's not that big of a deal. All that being said, here's where things start to get really bad. Now, I have to remind myself that Nadia is what, like 16 years old, something like that? So, yes, it is believable that she would fall for this kind of a trap. I don't want to explain to you how the trap worked. At first, you might say, oh, this is just silly, but unless you're 15 years old, you might, I think that this was fairly believable for a 15-year-old. As smart as she is, she's, her brain's still not fully developed until you're like 25 years old. So she walks into this, it looks like a really well laid out trap. And who laid out the trap is actually pretty interesting. Now, is this a new character? I've never seen this character before. El Cocoy. I know this actually means the boogeyman in Spanish. This is actually a freaky looking character, and I gotta hand it to Gary. This is really well done. If this is in fact a new character, really well done. Because I looked at this, I'm like, oh crap, somebody's getting their butt handed to them. This was cool. Also, everybody, it seems, is in the middle of a trap. The biggest part, and I am going to reveal this one, all right? So if you don't want any reveals for, what's happening in this comic book, like names and whatnot, here it comes. Whirlwind shows up to get into it with, what do you call it? Janet Van Dyne is here. Anybody who knows the history of Ant-Man, yeah, you going back to like Hank Pym days, dude, Whirlwind is, I believe, the first reoccurring villain for Ant-Man. And he is a threat. He is definitely a threat. He wasn't as much of a threat when he was called the Human Top because he just sounded silly. But there's also one of the first mutants in the Marvel Universe. So there's that. I am excited to see that. That is a great idea, putting the Human Top in this, putting Whirlwind in this. As far as the main people who were involved in this trap for the team of Girl, I am pleased. I am very pleased. I'm looking forward to the next issue. Couple points of contention, though. You don't have to make the girls look awesome by making boys look stupid. Okay? That's completely unnecessary. Bucky is supposed to be the most terrifying, one of the three most terrifying assassins out there. Black Widow being another, and Elektra being the third. There is nobody else on Earth who's supposed to be quite that frighteningly deadly. Even Gamora, though they say she's the most dangerous woman, most deadly woman in the galaxy, not very often shown in that regard. She's a good fighter, but as far as assassin, you barely ever get the chance to see it. There are a couple things that you can name, but come on now. As far as Winter Soldier, as far as Elektra, and as far as the Black Widow, it's been fully well established that is what makes them so dangerous at assassination. So having, and espionage, I'm saying specifically for a Widow and the Winter Soldier. So having Bucky walk right into a trap and get his dumb ass, this was bad. In my opinion, this is not how you make other people look good, by making established people look stupid. This was not the way to do it. So that's 2 issues in a row. That's the kind of thing that makes somebody want to fall off a comic book. You don't have to ruin the characters that we grew up with. You're not ruining them. You're misrepresenting the characters, and you're making a terrible book in that regard. I love what they're doing with the team of Girl, but our established characters don't have to be, humiliated in order to make these look every bit. No, you make them look good. And you just don't even have Bucky in your book if that's what you're going to do. Have Mockingbird go in there solo. Why couldn't Mockingbird go in there solo? That doesn't make sense to me. So, yeah, this just unnecessary. Completely unnecessary. Anyway, guys, this you know what this reminds me of? That silly song when we were kids. Girls go to college to get more knowledge. Boys go to Jupiter to get more stupider. Come on, man. Come on. That doesn't even require a comment. So, tenuous. It's tenuous. Great book until they all of a sudden show a guy in there. It's like, that's, you can show the girls being better than the guys, but you don't have to write the guys out of character and make them actually stupid. That was stupid. I would have been smart enough to not put the freaking tape in, for crying out loud. Anyway, guys, I'm done. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.